I call the meeting for December City Commissioners meeting to order. Roll call, please. Betsy?
Joe Kaiser.
Here.
Tony Stolzman.
Here.
David Evil.
Here.
Susan Jett.
Present.
Ron Hayes.
Here.
Please silence your phones or turn them off, and then we're going to have a moment of silence for our Okay, approval of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to read over it? Any changes or anything?
David, do we need to talk about our friendly lawsuit on the docks?
Oh, well, maybe.
I don't see it on here. Maybe it's in here. I just don't see
No, it's
it.
not on here.
I'm not sure if we need to, but
We can make a motion to put it in.
Update.
You want to put the update? That's probably all we need.
Update since mediation.
Okay.
Okay, so just in the updates? Ron, are you okay with that?
yeah, that's fine,
Okay.
because I don't want to be arrested for that.
Where do you want to put that on the agenda?
We'll do it on the update.
Do you want that, okay?
I need a motion to approve the agenda.
With the amendment, I make that motion.
Ron makes it a second.
I'd second that.
Susan seconds it. All those in favor of the agenda? Aye. Say aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have approval of the minutes from the November 18th monthly meeting and the special meeting on November 25th. Has everybody had a chance to read through the minutes?
I make a motion that we accept the November 18th minutes as submitted.
I have a second. I'll second. Got a second by Joe. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Please review the 25th minutes.
And I'd make a motion for the minutes from the 25th meeting to be approved as presented.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Ron seconds. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Property owner discussion. Please step up to the mic. You got 3 minutes. You got to state your name and your address where you live. Anybody wants to speak to commissioners, there you go.
Let's get it over.
David, since I'm a property owner, I'm just wanting to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I'm a little bit ahead of something, and you may already have that in the agenda. I just didn't see it, and we've got enough things going on that I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful Christmas.
And you.
Now, as far as the new year, that's different.
Okay, let's move on. Old business, our 2025 assessed levy percentage. Discussion. As we agree.
But yeah.
I don't see any reason to change it right now since we're not coming up with anything else going on. So
What, Tony?
I don't see any reason to change our levy percentage from last year.
Okay.
We have a lot of maintenance coming up on this. So we're going to keep it at 10% then?
I make a motion to leave the levy at 10%.
Well, let's have a little discussion.
Yeah, that's what we're talking.
We have a situation where we've been at 10% every year since we've been commissioners. And I don't think we're money hungry, but we really need to understand and help our population, our wonderful people who live in this community, why it needs to be 10% again.
We could share some of that information, and it starts with golf course maintenance. It starts with what we expect to do to the rivers this spring. It talks with our building maintenance.
The dams.
Sir?
The dams.
The dams, I haven't even gotten that far yet. But we have got some expenses coming up that we have been aware of that we've been aware that they're coming for several years. And it's just like us, when we know that we're gonna have to place our septic tank next year, we start figuring on that. So the expenses that we have coming up that we really don't know how much are gonna cost us yet there's no reason for us to decrease the levy because the dam work, and I'm saying the dam work, what's the better word for that? The work on the dams is going to be real expensive, and we haven't gotten a final report from those guys or the engineers yet. So I think that, and I'm a property owner, you're a property owner, and I hate to say that we need to do it at 10% again, because I was hoping that we would be able to at least reduce it a little bit. Anyway, I'm done talking. 10%, and because of the expenses that we are anticipating.
Can I make a comment about the budget that I put together? So, may I?
Go ahead.
So if you look on your last page of your expense breakdown, it shows you your expenses minus your income for the year. And where we normally had about $800,000 number the last few years to spend, which is what we've been spending, this year that number with the 10% levy is $133,761. That is quite a bit less than what we've had in the past. When I went in and looked at what the percentages would be, for every 1% from what I budgeted as income, would be $177,000. So if we went to 9% versus 10, it would be about $43,000 in the whole of our operating budget. And the reason for that is also we have a $600,000 delinquent in our current taxes. And I think I stated this at our last meeting, is that's kind of how the taxes roll on lots. People buy them, they get them current that year, and then if all they own is a lot, they let it get delinquent 2 years, they get a letter from the state, and then they pay it up. And so this is that second year of what I believe is going to be a high delinquency year. So that's how I built my budget, was on a 10% levy, and if we change it, that would be something that we need to look at.
Thank you.
That's exactly what I wanted our property owners to understand. The key, because of the things that we said in the past, that we're going to have to go and do a full 10% again, which there are people who've already told me we're just money hungry, and I don't really say anything except that please come to the meeting so you can learn.
You know, we keep saying this over and over and over. We're just trying to catch up on 20 years of neglect to the buildings, to the facilities, to the dams, to the lakes, everything. And I'm a property owner too. I don't like going at 10%, but to get stuff done that we need to get done, we're going to have to stay there. So that's my 2 cents worth. I need a second. Any more discussion? Second?
Second.
Yeah, we got a second. Yes, we got a second.
I did.
Okay.
Tony made the motion. All those in favor of the 10% levy for 2025, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, our fees for the 2025 amenities. I looked through the budget and I really didn't see anything where we're going to increase them.
I think we talked last month about leaving them at the same as they were last year for 2024.
Yeah.
That's how I did the budget.
Yeah.
That's how she did the budget.
Was there a proposal about, or a look at the golf dues, or nothing? It was just the fees on the
There was a letter from one of our property owners a recommendation of how they would like to see some structure, and the cost reduced.
Right.
To me, are we gonna react on one property owner, 5 property owners, 10 property owners? Look at the numbers.
Is this something, this is something, this is something we could address later though, could we not? Because it's not really
It
going
will
on.
be addressed later. This is your time.
Because it goes into print on the
It
pan.
goes to print, and that's what it will be for the next year.
And to add a little bit to that, I've talked to a number of property owners who have said, well, if you go to Indianapolis, you don't have to pay but $200 to play golf. And if you go to Florida, it depends on who you're playing with, but some of them are more than that. So we are pretty reasonable in the, if you look at 50-mile radius of Cherokee Village. Now, there's a couple that are a little bit more, but you also pay a whole lot more to even be part of that club. And so I want to make sure that you understand that our fees for golf are pretty reasonable. Again, we've always had to have carts that work. We do have them now. We have excellent maintenance in a lot of cases. And we have really good employees who are working there on their summer jobs. So it's something that we need to continue because that draws people to Cherokee Village.
I think also we have so many property owners that holler they don't play golf, they don't play golf. You know, the golf course doesn't mean anything to them. We put all of our money into the golf course. Well, if we don't keep our rates at the golf course and look towards the future, then we are spending money that we could collect from the golf course. That's what it's there for, to help generate those funds. We did excess over budget on greens fees, $30,000 at this golf course alone. $8,000 in tournaments this year. We've never had that before. We did $38,000 over budget at the South course on income, on greens fees and cart rentals. That's not people screaming that I'm not coming to play golf in your course because you charge me too much. They're coming, they're enjoying it, and the money that we're making from that, we have to put back into the course, because if we don't maintain it, they're not going to come.
Any more discussion? Okay, I need a motion to approve the 2025 amenity fees.
I'll make that motion.
Ron makes the motion, I need a second.
I'd second that.
Susan seconds. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, moving on, new business. We have the Cherokee, budget review. Oh, shoot, sorry, guys.
Yeah, don't sit down.
We gotta go over this. Okay, budget review and approval for 2025. Has everybody had a chance to go over there?
Yeah.
And we've got questions, don't we? Yeah.
And you like page by page, how do you want to do it?
I'll clean my folder out before I ever, I guess it's clean forever. Not to smell or anything.
I won't be able to make notes and give it to you.
Okay,
Oh, does Betsy not want to talk to this?
I'm just going to make notes as you
Okay.
go through it.
Okay.
Y'all can hear me pretty well.
so, you guys got your, no, this one. This.
One she handed out last month.
I emailed it to you a couple of weeks ago.
This one. She sent it to us in the email too.
I'm good.
You might want to share theirs. We can share ours. Okay. Which one?
Okay, what page you want to start on?
Start on the first page, income comparison.
And as you know, this page is what your totals are of the following categories behind it. So really, normally I would pull this one out and then go to your next page, which is going to be your numbers.
So you're projecting possibly of a shortcome this year?
Yes, sir, 480,000. I based that on, in 2024, I budgeted 2.19 million in assessments. We've actually collected as of 10/31, 1.24. And we just brought in another 500,000 in November for all of the Octobers. So I believe we're going to be closer to that 1.7 next year, which is $480,000 less. That is on your current assessments. Your delinquent assessments is your next spot. And as you can see, 234s that we collected this year. I suggest we'll do the same next year. About half of what we put out there delinquent.
But then that cycle will swing and we'll pick those back up, right?
It will, and all of these lots that are selling, keep in mind, they redeem them, they pay them up to what's current. Anything before October 15th, they just pay 2023. They're already delinquent on 2024 because they didn't pay that when they redeemed it. So it's just a vicious cycle of a couple of years they go delinquent and then it'll build back up. And then we'll see that big delinquency.
So it's my opinion that this assessment delinquency, the swing that Betsy described to us a couple of months ago, there's nothing that we can do about it because none of our Ouija boards work any better than Betsy's do, that we just need to roll with it. And just because she's budgeted a shortfall, that maybe that shortfall won't happen.
Maybe we'll come out better.
And maybe we'll come out better. I just,
Okay. Just going over this, it
okay.
had me a little worried, that's all. We're talking.
So if you look
close
at
to
that
half a
column, it says that as of 10/31, total everything we collected was almost 1.5, and we collected another 5. So I think we'll be right at 2 million for next year too.
million.
Okay. And I know it doesn't look exactly right, and it makes me panic, because if it was my household, I'd be melting down about it. But because of the way people pay their assessments, I think it's going to be okay.
Okay. Okay. Any more questions about that, assessments or anything? Okay.
Do we need to move to, I don't know, how many more questions y'all have? Do we need to move to the lake information?
Well, if you just go to your next page, then you're going to have your annual dues, your North Rock,
Right,
your South
okay.
Rock. It's going to go through each category that's on that cover sheet.
Right, that's what we're looking at, and I'm okay with all that so far.
Yeah, our annual dues, you can see right there our shed rentals. We did quite a bit different in shed rentals. Last year, we only projected 7,200, we collected 12,200. So, that's a $5,300 improvement there.
Moving on to the different facilities. Omaha Center operating income. What is this with the building rentals? What are we renting over there?
Well, in the past, we had the dancers that came in last year, and they rented the facility for 3 hours. Last year, we also had the high school play.
Right.
And in 2024, we haven't had either one of those events. But I did have a line item on there because we've had rentals there in the past. We don't want to not have that opportunity.
Right.
It's not much on there.
Do you think our prices are too high? I noticed that a lot of people are starting to go to these other facilities around here to hold their stuff.
No, I don't think our prices are too high at all. I think that the Omaha Center is special only for certain events because there's no kitchen, people are having weddings in the auditorium. If you look here, we did North Rec Center, $2,500, $1,852. We just had another 400 rentals, so $2,200 this year. And I think that that's because of our floors, the paint job, and if we could do a little more in that kitchen and make it an easier kitchen for caterers to use, I think we'll have more weddings here.
Okay.
This place is really getting a good reputation. Lower Thunderbird, same way. Great facility. The only water there tourist is to wash a pot or a pan is in the bathroom in the sink. So, those are make it hard to compete against a Cooper's Point or some of the other facilities, but we're working on it.
Okay. Of course, the campground, we had,
Are you looking at income still?
yeah,
Well, this year's income at the campground was $8,200. We just had $45 in November that'll hit. But of course, I budgeted big for the eclipse, and it was a
bust.
disappointment. Yeah. But the same thing on the other end, when you look at the expenses, I had big money in expenses, but what we would make from the eclipse, and we didn't do those things either. So what we didn't collect, we didn't spend.
Total, what was that? Total interest income, what is it?
Total what?
Interest income,
Total interest income, you're still, that's still projecting a shortfall.
Total all, total all.
Total all income, the 2.5 mil,
Isn't that variance?
that's the variance
From
of
last year.
77, yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Total all income, yes. So that's still that shortfall, if we look back, that's the
Right.
assessment. That very second page, what was it, 466,000? Our shortfall would be, or our decrease in income is 477. So you're looking at 11,000 plus that assessment income.
So she's just saying that we're budgeting, we're predicting that much less.
Right. Okay, expenditure comparisons.
Okay. Escalante Park, Yes. And then that in there.
and I know. We shut that building down once before, didn't we? But it went into disrepair.
Well, it's kind of shut down now, and then it's got power in there because there's plumbing in the kitchen.
Right.
There's, not a toilet. It did have a leak in the roof. We fixed the leak. It had a furnace that didn't work. It was open underneath. We boarded that up. I mean, we kind of secured it. The guys went over and took that porch off the front. It was dangerous. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know what to say. We either should do something with it or do nothing at all. I don't know.
I don't want to let it fall down because I still think that our long-term planning is going to involve that whole neighborhood. So I don't want to let it go into total
Right.
disrepair.
I agree with you.
Well, then why don't we let George go through there, once y'all figure out what the budget is, let's see what it would cost to spend, and we can look at some of that surplus income, see how much of it you want to spend on it.
Okay.
Okay.
And,
Or we're not gonna hold up the budget approval over what we might want to
No,
do.
no.
Sequoia Beach,
Yeah,
you're predicting 3,007, we might as well say,
only thing I'm gonna do more this year than I did last year was the second, is a third load of sand. Each year we bring in 2 loads of sand, we just need to do a third one.
okay,
That's the only difference in what we had last year to this year.
okay. Computer upgrading. I'm in general office now.
Computer upgrading is really our computer software. It's a quarterly payment, $7,900 is what it's been this year. I actually have a quote coming in that should be exactly the same, so I pretty much left it the same.
Okay.
So every quarter,
$7,911 is what it has been.
wow. Maintenance contracts, what are those on?
Maintenance contracts on general office,
Yes,
that's our copy machine, I believe,
Okay.
and what's it say to the right? It should be copy machine and pest control.
okay. Of course, the legal fees, cha-ching.
No. And that's just based upon what we spent this year.
And is that land repair on there for around the mini golf course?
Is the what?
general office, you got land repair, $350.
$350?
Yeah.
Next to the last one.
Yeah, no, that's not, that was what we spent in 2024 year to date. I didn't put any money in land repair for general office.
Yeah, okay.
Land repair would either be Omaha Center
Right.
expense or another building maintenance.
That's what I'm trying to figure out here. We got
Money for the miniature golf,
two different sheets for Omaha Center. One of those is probably the general office, right, if I'm reading this correct?
so general office is gonna be our office, nothing to do with the Omaha Center.
Okay.
Just our office, so there
That's
would
what
be
I
no
thought.
real land repair for us. Omaha Center could have land repair. I got $20,000 in there, potential for back area, was the note that I made this summer. Building repair, bathhouse and gym restrooms.
Thunderbird Center. The land repair for Thunderbird Center, we got 10,000 earmarked.
I put 10,000 in there again, you know, last year we took out those 3 huge trees.
Right.
Don't really know what it would be, but that kind of gives us some money in there for whatever comes up over there. Could be erosion, could be whatever. Just, I put something in there to cover.
Okay. No, the salaries you based on a 6% increase?
Is this at where?
All
On
through all
of
of them, through all of them.
That's what they actually got this year. Y'all gave them 4% in their annual review and then a 2% bonus. So
Okay.
6% was what I based them on.
Okay, the maintenance contract, the landscaping,
I budgeted the landscaper of my choice. And I know that's a conversation that we started a few meetings back and
well, I and several of the other commissioners would like to keep our current person if possible. Give him a 6-month contract, tell him he's on probation to get his work up to snuff. I'll give him January through June to see how he does. And if he doesn't do well, then we get rid of him.
then what are we gonna do?
Well, I personally,
Of the season,
let me,
Go ahead.
I personally think we should just give
Speak
him,
up.
I think,
Speak into
I mean, in my, I personally feel that we should give him the 12-month contract.
You what?
I personally feel that we should give him the 12-month contract. From all I've heard and people I've talked to seem to be pleased with his work. I don't know what the problem is that we're trying to not renew his contract, but he's local, he's a resident, he's much cheaper than anybody else we have. I think we can work with him if there's a problem. I think that from all I've heard from other people, if you just talk to him, he would fix the problem. And
Part of the problem, Tony, I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
no, so that's my opinion of it. But
Okay, I believe we should move with Betsy's choice. Part of the problem with the existing company, and I have had communications with him, and he's got a lot of excuses, reasons, ideas, but we have given him several years' worth of grace to fix whatever's going on. Several is 2. We spend a lot of money, the Suburban Improvement District, with our current employees going behind this man and his company to do what he didn't finish doing. And I, for one, with my own pocketbook, when I pay somebody to do something and every month I have to babysit them and I have to babysit them and I have to babysit them, after a while I get tired of it and move on. And I believe that that is what the Suburban Improvement District has done with our current company. Now, that's my 2 cents worth, and I know he's local, and I know that we all want to go local, but I'm real tired of spending more money that we just suck out of our maintenance guys' pockets of time and energy and resources to do what he doesn't finish doing.
Okay, so if he doesn't finish doing something, why don't we just...
Sir, what?
If he doesn't finish doing something, why don't we just address that with him? Say, hey, this was not done, you need to go back and fix it, and do it.
It's
And
been,
no, I'm just saying, I don't know why we just don't do that, because he's local.
We
If
have
something,
done that for
okay.
several
And 2 years it's been the contract.
okay,
Yeah.
several.
I do not feel comfortable spending $30,000 or almost $30,000 more dollars to get someone from Jonesboro to come out and do this. Well, it's actually more than 30,000, 35,000. We're talking about saving money here and all the things that we've got. I think if you know what, even if some of us have to intervene and go talk to them and say, hey, this has got to be done, it hadn't been done. You know, I'll be willing to go talk to them.
Can I speak? I'm the one that has to go with.
Okay, I understand, but I don't want to spend another $35,000 to go to Jonesboro to get somebody when I've got someone local from everybody else I've talked to, other references, has said this man, he's reputable. They say he'll fix whatever he needs to. He'll go above and beyond, they said. I mean, he seems to be someone in this community that is valued. I just don't understand going away from this when we need the money for other things, probably more important, and that if we have a problem with them this year, we should just address it with them. If, like I said, I'll be willing to step in and address it with them if I have to, if there's a problem.
May I speak? So again, I want to say that this has nothing to do with Mr. Malone personally. He is a wonderful gentleman. I think that it is his intent to do a job above and beyond. That is what his desire is to do. His problem is finding people to work for him.
I heard that
The
was not true.
same,
I'm sorry, I heard that was not true.
Are you interrupting, Betsy?
No, I'm just telling you it's not true.
well, Tony, not once have you called me to ask me what our experience has been.
I heard
over
what your
2 years.
experience was already.
You've heard what you wanted to hear.
Okay.
And we have
No.
3 local companies. We've spent over $250,000 in 2 years to not get what we paid for. We brought a company in 2022 that came in and did an excellent job. We had no problems with that company at all. But once they were here for the first year, our local companies were able to see what we were paying for that contract, which gave them the opportunity to come in and undercut that contractor and get the job. We worked that in 2023. We had great communication. And again, we said our expectations did not go down because we're using a local company. Our expectations are still going to be the same. And this is communication that has been ongoing with Mr. Malone. This is not something that hasn't happened. I've got texts, I've got emails, I've got pictures, month after month after month, where I had to go to him and ask him, show him what his employees are not getting done. My job is to spend the money on a contract for a professional landscaping company. We don't have somebody here that can provide us with those duties, which is what took us to Jonesboro. We have 2 other local companies that would like a chance at having this opportunity. If you want to stay local, then give one of them an opportunity. But why would we go back a 3rd year and give somebody a chance to do something that they didn't do the first 2 years? That just doesn't make any sense to me. And my second point is if you wanted to let him do it till June and then he doesn't do a good job, I don't have other companies that are going to step in the middle of the season and pick us up and finish us forward. So we have to make the hard decisions now. And I'm the one that deals with the contractor. I don't need a commissioner intervening. That's part of the problem that we have today. I need the vendors to work for SID, not work for the individual
discussion on this?
On Tuesday, yeah, that's how to say it.
I'm going to say something, I don't need a microphone, because I'm pretty loud. I come from a long term of people that are willing to give people a second chance. Now, I was sort of blindsided by the entourage of the things that this fellow has evidently not done, and he claims that he's tried to do. I don't know. I mean, I'm not talking to him. I'm not out there walking around watching the guys weed eat and all that kind of stuff. So, as commissioners, we've got to make the best decision, what's best for this community, which we get blamed all the time for taking money and stuffing it in our pockets and doing stupid stuff that nothing ever happens with that. And that's the most retarded thing on the planet that I've ever heard of. But we can't do our job if we're going to be scrutinizing every little bitty thing like that and deciding, well, this guy didn't weed eat this or didn't do that. Why can't we go to him and say, hey, buddy, you've got to fix this. Why can't he come to the commissioners? And the commissioners meet with him, have a special meeting with him, or Lord knows we can't have a special meeting without thousands of people being here. Have him come in here and sit down with a public meeting, and let's scrutinize him in public and find out why he can't do his job. Because I'm personally not for sending money to Jonesboro. I know that company you're talking about. They're hunky-dory as long as you're living on Ridgepoint. I'm not sure they're going to come all the way over here to Cherokee Village and do a hunky-dory job here. I don't know if this guy's doing hunky-dory or not. I just think he deserves a second chance. He's $30,000 cheaper than anybody else's bid. Maybe there's a reason he's cheaper. There's always a reason for something. But I'm just telling you, we could review him monthly. Nothing's going to happen until the grass starts growing. But we could find out, and if it's not working, I think as the commissioners, we could get together and go out on a road trip one day and check all of these spots and make sure everything's done correctly. And if it's not, invite him back to the public meeting and scrutinize him about what's going on. And obviously, if you give him a year contract, you've got a year to mess with it. And I know you've got frustration over it because you've evidently talked to him and all that. But I don't know. I'm really on the fence about it. I'm telling you.
Well, I don't want anyone to think that any vendor can't go to a commissioner and talk to them. But what I don't want to think is that the vendors think that they can intervene me and go to a commissioner and then something gets changed. That takes the power of me and my position away to the commissioners that are supposed to be working with me. So the individual people that they want to work with their friends or work with who they know or work with their neighbors, that's not what y'all are here for. You're supposed to be working for the whole community, same as I am, as my job.
Okay.
I have spoken repeatedly.
Can you keep?
That wasn't me.
No, keep conversation.
I've spoken repeatedly to Mr. Malone. I think if he stood here today, he would tell you that same thing.
Okay.
And what I said to him in my last conversation is the last thing I wanted to do is to come in here and bash him in the community. We're not the only business that he's had problems with. He lost his townhouse contract last year. That had nothing to do with me. This is a job performance. How long do you hold someone's hand? And if y'all want to go around each month and check all the locations, I would be happy for y'all to do that, because that's something less than what we would have to do. But checking locations, taking pictures, sending notices, this still isn't done, this still isn't done. It goes on and on and on for 2 years.
Okay.
I was
So
sitting
I'm-
here for 2 years if I had
Okay,
to do that.
So I'm,
What, Ron?
Ron?
Okay, so this gentleman, 2 days ago, and we looked only local, and we accepted bids for this job with the understanding of what's supposed to happen. And that really would be the next best step for this community.
And we have 2 other local companies that are within a few $100s of each other. Do they have the experience as a professional commercial landscaper? Nope. Same thing, same problem. If we had local people that would come to work every day, take pride in their job, not tear up the equipment, we have a park and recs department, like we used to have. That's what the village had until 2022. They had a park and recs department. They hired people to cut grass over here, seasonal employees. They paid and fixed their equipment, trucks, trailers, that's what happened. All of this changed in 2022 when we brought in a professional professional landscaping company.
Well, I'd like to say, and I'm not trying to interrupt Ron, but the way I understand it is, and I may be off balance, but the commission or the group hires the general manager, and we trust you to do your job, which we do. You do a phenomenal job. I've never questioned your job ever. And your job, the way I would understand it, is to present us with a budget and come back with proposed people that you think that we ought to use, along with the grievances you have with current ones. And it is our job as commissioners to decide whether that's a good deal or not a good deal. And then when we make the recommendations back to you, we shouldn't be scrutinized for saying we're trying to overrule whatever you're saying because a bunch of commissioners are telling you what to do. I personally take offense to that, and that's okay, because it doesn't matter what I think. But I'm just going to tell you, that's where I stand. I don't know what to do with that. I don't want to offense that.
My apologies, offense was not what I was trying to be offensive towards any of them.
And I'm on the other side of that point, Joe. Us, don't have time to go out and walk around and talk to the people who say, oh, this hadn't been weed eated, that hadn't been picked up. The guy only does what he can do from a lawnmower. And I'm not saying that guy, but we have had many complaints. Now, Ron is the one who walks out and talks to golfers. I just happen to see people as I drive around and stop at the parks because that's my thing, is parks and people. And people are not happy with their first impression of Cherokee Village Improvement District properties when they come into the village. It's always something nagging at us that doesn't get done. And I don't want to take any money or any opportunity away from our existing company, Mr. Malone, but I can show you a list of text messages from people who go, you know, this is our first impression on people that come into the village. So I'm all for, let's go with Betsy's, the next company from Jonesboro, and if it bites us in the bottom, then next year we can start over again. And if these local companies want to try again and they know what our expectations are, go for it. But this company out of Jonesboro has promised us this, has promised us that. They have promised us that they're going to do a good job. It would be worth the $35,000 to me personally, and I expect to y'all, just not to have the telephone calls, the text messages, the photographs, the complaints, why didn't you do this for a year? And I know it's $35,000. But y'all know as well as I do that this local guy cannot keep help. Betsy can tell you that we couldn't keep help at the cafe. We can't keep help seasonally. It's people's attitude towards work. So my 2 cents is to go with the new guy for a year, and if it doesn't work out, or if somebody comes up to us next October and goes, I can do this, then we think about that next year. But I'm tired of people going, y'all don't put a very good face forward.
And he's not a new guy.
Okay.
Yes.
I've not gotten any of those texts.
You what?
Can you not, I'm talking into this, okay? I've not gotten any of those texts. I've not heard it. Can I finish? I've not gotten any text. I've got nothing but people that said good things about them. Nobody's complained to me about the landscaping. As far as, do we not have time? I'm retired. I got all the time in the world. If someone needs me to come step up, call me, I'll come by and look. So, no, I still do not want to give another $35,000 for someone in Jonesboro. And what if he decides, hey, not that he would do this, but if he were a smart businessman, I'd sublet it to somebody up here. And then, of course, he's responsible, but then he makes it $30,000 and walks away and has a different crew doing wherever else. But I'm not saying you do that. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
That's inappropriate.
No, it's not. It's something that could happen, but I'm not saying, hold on, let me finish. 3 years ago when he had it, 3 years ago when he had it, he did not do that. He was here all the time and he was doing the job. That's what I heard. So I'm not saying you do that. But I just don't want to give $35,000 away to Jonesboro I'd rather give it here, if, like I said, if we have to, talk to this guy, whatever, I think we need to put him on notice and look, this is it, you need to do it right this year, get it all done this year, whatever it takes to please whatever we're supposed to, that we want done, to make it professional, that's what I think we should do. He's local, he's cheaper, we got money that we need to spend on so many other important things, and that's my opinion on it.
Well, let's just talk a little bit about references for the people out of Jonesboro. I haven't seen any references on them.
They worked for us. We have a reference on them. They were the.
I'm talking about people who are going to do the work other than in SID. I want to know what these people from Jonesboro have done, and I want to know references to the people that they've done work for in another location.
Okay.
I also like to say, you talk about inappropriate, you're saying that people around here don't want to work. There are people here that I'm always seeing saying, we're looking for a job, we're looking for a job, we're looking for a job. There seems to be plenty of people around here who want to work if they're given the opportunity. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, I don't know. But the thing is, if we take those jobs away, then there is no job. So if anybody is looking for a job, sorry, we've given it to Jonesboro. So, I mean,
Let's end discussion on this. I need a motion to either
what,
Take-
how do we do this?
Can we do that? Because it's built within the budget, so we are either going to approve or disapprove the budget.
No, we still have to approve the contract.
We don't have to approve a contract. She offered those to us for information.
So, I mean, if we don't like what's in the budget, we either disapprove of the budget or we approve of the budget, but you can't pick a line item out of it. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't like the color of the toilet, and we're gonna blow it all out because that didn't work. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't think we can, I'm not up on my
We can,
parliamentary procedure to know what to
But
do.
we still have to make a decision on the contract. It's got to be awarded this month.
True.
Because it runs out, so we need to make a decision on that.
We don't, Betsy does.
No, we do. This is our contract to approve.
That's for informational purposes.
No, she doesn't get to choose who gets the contract.
Betsy works for us, and we will present to her our best idea.
We'll call the lawyer on it then.
Sir?
I'll call the lawyer on it then and see who gets to decide this. If this is $124,000, you're telling me she's got the right to say, I want to spend $150,000 and you don't
I
have any
support
say?
Betsy.
Okay, you do, but I'm not saying I do. I support this.
Then
The
we-
point is you can't,
enough. Either we take this line item,
We can't. Not a single line item.
Is that the only?
It's
item?
budgeted.
Any questions on the budget?
Well, we haven't got through it all.
it's budgeted. When we still approve the contract, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So,
And perhaps, and I don't know that this could even happen, but perhaps for the January meeting, all of these companies could come to us with references like what's his name? What references like we want to see, maybe pictures of places that they see every month. I'm not for spending money outside the area, but maybe they'll come to town, maybe they'll rent a house, maybe they'll eat out, maybe they'll buy gas, maybe they'll buy a vehicle, maybe, and maybe Mr. Malone can straighten up, but we have given Mr. Malone numerous chances to do the right thing. And just now, because he's hollering, poor me, we've given the man a lot of grace. If I had work done from him and he had messed up as many times as he's messed up for the Suburban Improvement District, I'd tell him, well, I'm moving on.
But I've sat on this commission for 3 years.
Yes, sir.
Coming into my last year. This is the first time I've ever heard a complaint about Mr. Malone. And I'm not making that up. I'm just telling you, it's never been brought up. And now it's all of a sudden a big issue. And honestly, I don't care who cuts the grass. I just don't want to spend another $35,000 if I don't feel like it's necessary and move that money from our little bitty economy down to Jonesboro, which obviously doesn't need it, because Harold Copenhager, who I know really well, is doing very good with his economy down there in Jonesboro. So if we base all of that on this, and as I look at this, let me just guess. It's a line item, budget item for $160,000, not so much that specific contract. So if we approve the budget, it is for a line item approval of $160,000.
Correct.
If we get a bid that comes in cheaper than that, then we save money. But we're not approving Mr. Malone or Joe Bowe over at Jonesboro. We're approving a $160,000 line item
Correct.
for mowing or whatever we gotta do.
Correct.
And then as commissioners, or Betsy or whatever, can figure out who's best to spend that $160,000. Am I seeing that wrong?
No.
You are saying it right.
That's right.
So then we're fussing over nothing. Either approve the $160,000 line item or forget it. I mean, you
That's
can't
it.
approve the budget with that in there unless we
Right.
change all of that.
When do we approve these? Because this is the third month we've addressed this.
The
It's the
contract.
second month we've
We've
addressed
had
it.
it 2 months.
It's the second or third month we've
It's
had
the third
those.
month that we've had. Third
Or we
meeting
talked
that
about them every month.
we did talk about it last month.
Okay, so let's move on with the budget. Let's move on with the budget. We'll come back to this. Any other questions on here? Oh, I do. On the leased equipment for
Yes.
the north and south golf courses. I see you had it. We didn't pay last 24.
Okay, so in the past, what we've done with our leased equipment, which was golf carts and the John Deere equipment, it came out of the capital money for the golf course. But if we continue in that route forward, we're not gonna have enough capital money left. So I pulled out the lease for the equipment and just left the lease for the carts under the capital. So
Okay.
this will be the first year we would be paying for that equipment.
Okay.
I think I made a note out to the right about that.
And then you put that money in there for the erosion repair down here, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That would be under maintenance,
All right.
forest maintenance. I put some engineering money in.
That's,
Tournament expenses, you said you're putting,
you don't have anything for tournament expenses this coming year either, for either
For
course?
what?
for tournament expenses
Tournament
on
expenses.
South Pro Shop.
Tournament?
Yeah,
tournament.
you had a line
Well,
item.
so what you're seeing on there is that middle column is when we have expenses that come in for the tournament, then we have income that comes in for the tournament, it washes that out. So that's just a line item that we wash. We have tournament income, and we'll have expenses for the one tournament that we do, or the two tournaments that we do.
Okay.
But that money's washed with our income that comes in for it.
Okay. Collector's fees. Maintenance contracts for Base Heart.
Maintenance contract for where?
Base Heart? Campground.
Is that going to be internet?
The maintenance contracts.
There's nothing budgeted. Yeah,
We don't have a maintenance contract for Base Park. Oh, $6,000 is what we put in the budget for 2024 for Eclipse. We didn't spend it. So I didn't put money in the budget for this year for it.
Okay, so that carried over.
Yeah, first column is what we budgeted for 24.
Right, right. So,
Land management, quite a few
You're
things
looking-
there.
so you're looking at 44,000 and some for Base Heart this coming year? Is what you're forecasting?
Yes.
Okay.
And of course, that would be up to $10,000 into building repair,
Right,
5,000
For the
land
shower room
repair.
and those buildings that are down there for their repair too, right? Plus the shower room and
Yep.
everything, okay.
Bath house, shop repairs.
Okay, lake management.
Big money on lake management.
All right.
$90,000 on dam repair, 65,000 of that was for spillways.
Yeah, I see that. are we setting any money back aside for repair for Sequoia?
I've got 25,000 in here for engineering fees that I expect that we're gonna see maybe in January when he's supposedly gonna have a proposal for us. But no, I don't know what we're gonna be doing with. No idea.
And they haven't gotten back about grants or anything, so is that supposed to be in that engineer report?
We've already gone through the state and turned in our paperwork for the grants. And
Okay.
60% is what she told us that we should be eligible for. But until the engineer comes back with some of his proposed, how we move forward, we don't know what that amount will be because we don't know what he's proposing the cost is.
Okay.
You know, he's kind of mentioned to the 2 million mark.
Okay, any other questions on the budget? Ron? Susan?
I just wondered if we could add money to the lakes management. And I know that we don't know what the dam repair is gonna cost us and all that mess is gonna cost us, but I'm thinking, you know, the report that we got from the lake committee talked about like the fish structure and lake maintenance, and the reports that we've got from Jeff Klein, I mean, it doesn't look like there's, I don't know, and maybe we don't need to, but like the fish structure, do we need to add more than is in here for fish structures? Because we've read about all kinds of fish structures. If we fertilize the lakes, is there a separate line item for that? Do we need 10% more in the lake management budget, or 20% more in the lake management budget for one of those long-term growth ideas?
Well, we basically at this point have zero for 2025.
Right.
We have money for 2025.
I mean, we're not showing anything for structure, or it's built in, I guess, to the lakes maintenance, which is 25,000.
Yes.
If you wanted a separate line item in some of those areas, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's gonna be a very expensive project to ever get these lakes back where they need to be as far as fisheries management goes. Now that we have a comprehensive biological report, it's extremely difficult to understand, and I think we're going to have money if we're going to do the things that both of these biologists have recommended. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that need to be spent. Obviously, we can't do that all in 1 year, but could we budget something for fish structure and fertilizer and I mean, he's talking about dredging to get down to gravel in certain areas, and I have no earthly idea what they cost, but it just sounds expensive. I mean, and that's going to screw everything else up. Here again, it's the budget, and we've got to approve what's printed or disapprove it. That's just the way I see it. So
For lake maintenance, we were at 15,000 year to date. I put 10,000 more in. So I put 25,000 in for lake maintenance. We've got 25,000 in for engineering, 15,000 for land repair. So I feel like that we've got 90,000 for the dam repair. I feel like there will be a little money that can move around there. But again, we can't foresee.
Yes.
And so if we look back at that 163,000 of excess funds that we have from our income and expenses, that's where that money is going to come in. That's what we're going to have to pull from.
Okay.
You know, we won't have that capital money that we had this year to do the paving and those kind of things. We don't have that extra money because of the delinquencies. So that 163 is going to strategically have to be used for those things that come up that were unexpected, or those repairs that are going to be deeper than what we thought, or there's no way to really project that.
let me ask this question, Dave, maybe you can answer it, is if we approve this budget as it is written, it's just figures basically, and so we're agreeing with this much we could spend next year, would there be any way that we could approve that? I'm just trying to come to a solution over this squabbling. And then maybe early on, and then meet with some of these people that we're in question about on the landscaping stuff meet with them, and then try to make educated decisions instead of, and you know you've already got the money built into the budget because you've approved it or disapproved it.
Correct.
But then we could maybe, as it come together as a group and meet with these folks, share our grievances with this other guy and tell the other people our concerns about them coming here and see if we can come to a good answer. What do you think, Dave?
Well, we approve the budget and then we approve the contracts after that.
So is that the way that works? I mean, or
That's a good way to do it. I mean,
In the
that's.
past, it hasn't worked that way, but it can. This is the first year of budgets that we've gone through this. I presented y'all with the budget, I gave y'all all the different bids and quotes, and y'all came back and approved budgets. We've never gone through this before.
but we've never had concerns, and this year, obviously, there are some concerns
Yeah.
on our part, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're allowed to have concerns, I think, and not that we're questioning your ability or anything like that. I just have concerns. I have concerns over the lakes and whether we're going to get the money to do all that. But let's see, 12 months from now, I'm not going to be worried about it.
And part of
12 months and 12
being-
days, 12 months.
12 months and 12
1 month.
And part of my interest has been, because I have more experience than I did, and I still got, how many more years do you and I have, Tony? With Tony and I I mean, we're gathering experience, and the last year when you presented the budget, I just kind of nodded my head and went along, because I had no idea what kind of questions to ask. And it's not that I'm questioning your ability or your choices, because I'm with you 100%, but I understand what Joe is saying and what Ron is saying and what Tony is saying. I understand it, but and my opinions are different than theirs. That's it. So
And it may
part of me
never-
fussing is just because I have got just a wee bit more of experience reading this mess.
Okay.
But it may not work out. I mean, we may meet with these folks and say, you know what, buddy, I'm sorry, it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But that would be the commissioners collectively, when we have a question over a certain item, I feel like we would have the right to meet with that question item and come up with a solution. That's just all I'm saying.
Okay.
So we're not
Let's-
approving the contracts, we're approving.
No, we're
the budget.
approving the budget.
Budget, not contract.
Okay.
You need a motion to approve the budget.
I need a motion to approve the budget as presented to us.
I would make a motion to approve the budget as presented.
I need a second.
I will second.
Joe, second. Roll call vote, please, on the budget.
Joe Geiser, yes.
You want me to do the secretary?
Yeah.
Sure. Tony.
Ron Page.
Just on the total budget.
I have to say yes, but I think there's still some issues that we need to work on, and we will do that.
Correct.
So he's a yes.
Susan Jett.
Yes.
Joe Kaiser.
Yes.
Tony, yes.
Okay, you're missing one.
Oh, no, he not voting. Only in the book in the case of a tie, right?
Right. You gotta get to vote.
Passes 4-0, budget.
The budget passes. Okay, new business, I can finally get there. Cherokee Village A&P Committee. From what I understand, we are not liked at the Cherokee City Council A&P meetings. And it has come to our attention that we contribute money to this and that we should have a representative on it. So my next question to Betsy is, how much do we contribute to the A&P?
This month, we only contributed $64.15. It's a little higher during the summer months because it's based upon any of our facility rentals, any campground rentals, and then of course this year the restaurant was added to it. We're probably at $800 for the year.
For the year?
All of those included.
How much do we spend on our signs on the highway?
That's going to be $1,000 initial investment on 2 billboards and $500 a monthly investment on 2 billboards. So $6,000 a year.
By law, do we have to contribute to the AMP? That's my other question.
Yeah, we do.
By law?
Our sales tax. Our
Ourselves.
tax, yes.
So I guess we cannot get out of it then, huh?
2% is what we pay.
Yep.
And on most of our building facility rentals, we add that 2% in. I mean, that's the cost plus the 2%. I don't think the problem is how much we're paying on it.
No, it's a representation.
What exactly are we looking at about this for? What are we doing?
We were denied representation in the AMP
I
committee.
think they vote, was it 5-3 vote?
Yes.
That's what
Why
I-
did they,
I can't hear what you're saying.
It said it was a 5-3 vote that we were denied from the city.
We have a couple of council members that have a personal grudge against Sid. And I will say that out loud, I don't care. Because they do not represent me as a constituent.
So how that came about was that I received a call from Jonathan that in the past, prior to David Webb meeting, David Webb sat on that board. I guess there were some positions that were open that never got refilled, and so he reached out and said, would Sid have a representative that would be interested? And I said, myself or any of the commissioners I thought would be an appropriate person. It has to go through some approvals. When it got to city council is when it was not approved.
I do plan on attending the city council meeting Thursday. I don't think there is. Okay, let's make,
so do we just need to keep track of this, and if there's another vacancy, apply again for this vacancy?
I don't think that we're applying for anything.
Well, so just
Something
for representation?
I would say that if Sid is interested, or if y'all are interested, then maybe you go to a city council meeting.
oh, I plan on attending it. I plan on attending it.
When's the next one?
Thursday.
It's on Thursday.
It's this Thursday at 6. Okay, so
Okay.
let's just table this motion. I need a motion to table it.
What's the move?
Ron,
And I'll say.
table the motion for the AMP.
Okay.
I got a
But-
motion from Ron, second from Susan. Those in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Oh, now comes the fun part. Nomination for chair, secretary, treasurer, and vice chair. It is open for nominations.
Do we not have a bylaw on this already?
What?
I said, do we not have a bylaw that
All the
covers
bylaws says it's every January it rotates.
Yeah, it's every
Yeah.
year.
Every year. And I cannot be chair again for this year.
for this? Well, if it
You're gonna
rotates,
take off next year, right? Are you gonna run again?
so
Sorry, I
if
didn't mean to ask that question.
it, given the bylaws, if it rotates, it would make Susan chair and me vice, and then we need to
No, we
put
nominate.
a secretary. I know, I'm just saying that, given the bylaws, is what it said.
It just says rotate.
What is the, you just said it did, what does the
It
bylaw
doesn't
say?
say that it rotates.
There's no
It says
rotation.
the
Okay.
chair position changes every January.
Well, if nobody's gonna make a nomination, I nominate Tony to be chair next year. Do I have a second? Ron seconds. Tony, you accept?
That's it?
We're gonna vote, excuse me.
Oh, I don't get
Gotta
to
see if
vote.
he'd accept the nomination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll accept.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Hmm?
Abstain. I already accepted.
All we're gonna do is give him a microphone that's got
Yeah,
no
let him
duration.
go, yeah.
Okay, what positions you
Okay,
got?
Vice chair.
Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
You should be the vice chair.
Can you be the vice chair?
Yeah, I cannot be the chair.
Could you be the vice chair? Well, I will nominate you as vice chair.
Okay, I'll accept that. I have a nomination for myself as vice chair from Tony. All those, I need a second.
I second that.
Susan's got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'm vice
Who,
chair.
who seconded Mike's nomination? I got you, you said Ron did?
Ron did.
Okay.
Okay, now for secretary treasurer.
Who seconded Dave's? I missed
Let's
it.
make that Ron next year.
Let's let Susan.
Susan?
I've done that 2 years. I did it my year, and I did it another year for somebody else.
I'm not sure how long
Take great notes.
my personal issues are going to allow me to even attend, which talking about it and doing it over the phone with the problems that I have with Karen's dad and my mom.
He does
We're in
not accept the
Knoxville,
nomination.
Austin, and I'm gone all the time, so I just can't.
Okay,
Other than I really love the people of Cherokee Village, and I accept all nominations.
So you want me to do it?
How about you,
If
Joe?
a poster child, and somebody that is absolutely not clerical, it would be me. I can't even read my own writing, so, I'm full of baloney, and I'm not sure that I can be a secretary. And the reason that I didn't, is people ask me, oh, you're gonna be chair or whatever. The reason that I personally don't want to do that or can't do that is, me and my family, we own 2 businesses in Highland. And I'm trying to control both of those as well as take care of my home and everything else. And I'm 60 years old, and so there's just no way I can attend lawyer conventions and other things like that that happen in this group. There's just no way. I've got to slow down somewhere. So I don't care to serve on the board. I just can't be in a position other than sitting here right now for 12 more months.
You do so good at it.
12 months and 1 week, and how many days?
More than an hour count.
We'll set the clock.
I'd like to nominate Susan for
I
secretary.
hate you.
I
Do
second
I have a
that.
second?
I didn't mean that. Yes, of course I'll do it. I mean, we're down.
Would you accept the
All those in
nomination?
favor of Susan being secretary
And
treasurer?
Betsy's real good at editing
Aye.
my notes because I use all my words.
Aye.
Motion carries. We got Tony as chair, Dave as vice chair, and Susan as secretary treasurer for 2025. Moving on, GM update, you're on.
Oh, you missed one. What? B. Oh, that's right, sorry. Oh, my.
What is it?
I just
Usually I'm the one
I
that
just
has
love-
this.
GM
Go ahead, GM update.
You want to be our secretary?
Okay, Betsy.
Omaha demo is complete. They have probably a day's worth of work of spreading some more straw. Rain came in on us on Saturday before they got it all down, but it's level. There's no ponding from the rain today. The straw is down, and probably by the end of the week they'll get their final check.
Okay.
So it looks really good. Has a nice, clean slate of something to start with. Lots of potential out there.
And it is pretty. If y'all haven't been out there, I mean, it's not swimming pools, but it's just going to be gorgeous when the grass grows in. It's going to be special. It really is.
That it?
For a question?
Nope.
No questions.
Update on Southern Land Management, SLM. We have tried everything to serve this gentleman with papers. We sent him a certified letter, which he rejected. And of course, when it went back to the attorney, then we started trying to get him served. He's got quite the reputation of dodging and not being served. At this point, I've gone back to the attorneys and said, what are we suing him for? He's got nothing. I think that our next step is just going to be to go to court, get a judgment against him for what he owes us, and hope that something will come along that we'll be able to get some of the money back. In the state of Arkansas, you're not required to have a business license for $50,000 and less. So I couldn't go after his business license. I looked in every direction. And sadly, his family reputation doesn't mean anything to him, and he knows that we're here talking about his time.
So just to be clear here, we're waiting for the lawyer's advice on if or any next step to take. How we start the next step.
File a suit.
We sent a certified letter He did not accept it. It came back, and so we're waiting for the lawyer's advice on, for the next step.
Process server, when you send the papers to a process server, have him served, but he's hiding from the process server.
Okay, hold on.
Process server reached back out to the attorneys and said, hey, we know this guy. He's, ducking and kicking and hiding around, and he knows he's being looked for, and he's making sure he's not going to be found. He bragged when it took him 2 years to get him served for child support. So there seems to be something that makes us study.
Certified letter, center processor server, couldn't find him, went back to the lawyers, waiting for advice for next step.
Yes.
I got it.
Anything else on your
Any
update?
questions on that one?
No questions, we're all good.
Winnebago dock, y'all added on. There's really no update. The judge has been informed that the settlement agreement was not reached. I didn't really like the way it was worded, that the commissioners refused to agree to the settlement. I hope that when we get our day in court, we have the opportunity to say that the agreement that they offered wasn't even reasonable.
Right.
But that's where we are. We don't know anything more. I'm sure it'll be after the holidays before we hear anything from the bench.
That's exactly why we want people to know that we're working hard to overcome some of that, because your money is at stake.
A whole bunch of your money is at stake. Our money is at stake.
Plus, depending on how this ruling goes, whether Sid has the authority to do anything on the lakes. That's the other thing. Depends on how the judge rules, so. Anything else? You done anything, Betsy? Done? Okay. With that, we're moving on. Okay, property owners, you've heard us, now we get to hear you. There's the mic for 3 minutes to address us and speak to us.
You know that we're not gonna bite you. Nobody has anything to say about all this mess? Go ahead, Penny, what?
Okay, no property owners. Do we need an executive session?
Not today.
No need for an executive session.
Can I make the movement to adjourn?
Make it.
Motion to adjourn.